Hello everybody and welcome to Mystics MMOs. I'm your host, Mystic Raven. Alright guys, so I have a new build for my Magicka Dragonite for the upcoming Murkmire update. Now, a lot of players are crying and whining because they're scared. They're shaking in their boots to all these new changes, and they're like, "Oh my god, PvP is gonna suck," and "Oh my god." I actually feel like it's a step in the right direction, but it's going to take some time. So, the new question becomes, how are you going to adapt? Better yet, how are you going to make adjustments to your playstyle? Don't worry, Mystic's got what you need. And right here is my new DK healer, or my new DK PvP build, Sloth. Alright, let me go ahead and get right into it. Okay, first off, we're going to get into the character sheet. Max Magicka sitting at 35,528. Magicka recovery prior to any application, 1,986. Max health in Cyrodiil or in Battlegrounds. In Cyrodiil is 723. This will get adjusted in Battlegrounds. You'll be sitting around 21. So it looks pretty good. Spell crits at 32. Spell resistance prior to any buffs, 18.7. Physical resistant, 18. Now you can use this in Battlegrounds and you can use this in Cyrodiil. We got everything allocated into Max Magicka. We are using the Lover Mundus, very important. We are a vampire, and we are using Witch Mother's Potent Brew. Now, this is a Resto Destro build, so when I go into the Destro side, now we take a look. The only thing you're going to see is the Magicka recovery slightly drop. Everything else remains the same. Okay, so very, very important. Now, what sets are we going to be using here? We're going to be using the Lich set. We're going to be using the Asylum's Inferno Staff. We're going to be using Valken Scorian. We're going to be using Sloths. And that's pretty much it. Now, this is a heavy armor build. Why? Why with the heavy? Very important. We want the passive towards the resistance. Okay? So we get physical and spell resistance. That's really going to help. Plus, we're going to get health recovery. That kind of helps with the vampirism. Not a lot, but some. We're getting increased health. We're getting revitalization. Increase the max and stamina of your heavy attacks. That's very important when you're weaving up. Excuse me. Very, very important. And then, of course, rapid mending. Increase your healing received by 88%. Very good survivability with heavy armor, especially with the upcoming changes to Murkmire. It's all going to be about resistance. So you can go with light armor resistance builds, or you can go heavy build. That's another reason why I went with the Lich set. So let's get down piece by piece, and I'll explain what's going on. So we're going to use the Restoration Staff of the Lich. Okay, the Lich. Now my enchantment's Oblivion, and have the enchantment with Nirnholm, or it's traded Nirnholm, Oblivion enchantment. Lich is going to give us recovery, Max Magicka, recovery. When we cast an ability under 33% Magicka, our Magicka recovery is increased by 996 for 20 seconds. This effect can occur every 1 minute. So let me go ahead and demonstrate this. Okay. Okay. Just dump down, dump down, dump down, dump down, dump down. We're going to dump down. And then we go back in the character sheet. Now we're at 3,261 Magicka recovery. That's per second. Really, really nice for sustain, especially if you're going to be in heavy armor. Really like that. Okay? So you want to use the Restoration Staff of the Lich. We're going to use the Asylum's Inferno Staff. Why are we going to use Asylum's Inferno Staff? Because every third cast of Force Shock will always apply a burning, concuss, or chilled status effect. Now, here's the deal. Why I went with this, I wanted to use the Force Pulse as my spammable, right? Why? Because DKs can't reflect it. It's not considered a projectile. So when you see wings on a DK, you can spam this. You can keep spamming right through it. So it's really nice. It's still going to deal a nice amount of damage. Now, this is a ranged build, which is different for a DK, right? It's completely different because I'm building it to ranged capability, which is really flipping awesome. It's awesome. I was questionable. This is the first time I've ever used this playstyle, but I'm impressed. So Asylum's Inferno Staff. You're going to also use Valken Scorian. You want this in heavy, infused, Max Magicka. Sloths. Now, here's the deal. When we apply any dot effect, right, Sloths has a chance to proc from any damage, including dot damage. So anytime dot damage is on, it has a chance to apply the Sloths Oblivion damage proc. Really, really reliable. It is very reliable. So I really like it. It can be countered if it's, roll dodged. But once again, really good set. So this is heavy infused Max Magicka. Once again, we have Valken Scorian arms. This is Divine. Now I have 2 pieces of Divine. If you want to go with an impen piece, by all means, do it. If you feel like you need that little bit of extra resistance. The only reason I went with 2 Divines is because I have enough resistance to cut down some of the base damage, and I wanted to increase the penetration up over the 3K. So that's why I went with 2 Divine. And this is Max Magicka, and it's medium. So I want 5 heavy, 1 light, 1 medium, so I can get that Undaunted passive of 6% towards our max stats. Keep in mind that is very important when we're taking a look at the Undaunted metal. Okay? Very, very important. So when we come down now, we use Sloth's Girdle, Impen, Max Magicka. We're also going to use Gloves of the Lich. This is my second Divine piece. That's also Max Magicka. Like I said, if you want to go with Impen, by all means, feel free. But I wanted that over that 3K marker. I'm at around 31 with the Lover. I got Sloth's Greaves Infused, Max Magicka. I want to increase the Max Magicka pool as much as possible. Sloth's Sabatons, Impen, Max Magicka. I'm using a Sloth's Necklace, traded Bloodthirsty. So here's the kicker. Let me in what has Magicka Recovery. Traits Bloodthirsty, Magicka Recovery. Why Bloodthirsty? Because Sloths doesn't scale, right? You can't scale Oblivion damage. But you can with Bloodthirsty. The nice aspect to Bloodthirsty, it's indicate increased damage against enemies under 25% health by 8%. That's any damage. So when they drop below 25%, any damage applied or directed is increased by 8%. And guess what? Yup. That's going to increase the slow. Now, if you get up to gold, you get up to 10%. So I do recommend trying to get this necklace into gold, because that's 10% extra damage, even applied to the Oblivion damage. Woohoo! Yeah, Mystic's got a lot of tricks up his sleeves. Don't worry, boys and girls. I'll take care of you. I'll take care of you. Okay, and we're going to use Ring of the Lich, Arcane Max Magicka, and another Ring of the Lich, Arcane Max Magicka. Really, really nice. So let's go ahead and get into the skills, shall we? Primary bar, Inferno Staff side. Stone Giant, this is our CC effect. Now keep in mind we are a ranged build. We're not playing like a typical DK. If it's not your playstyle, you're not gonna do well. But if you will like range classes and you want to play at a range capability with high survivability when they get on top of you, that's what this build's meant for. So Stone Giant, going to go ahead, deals 4,728 magic damage, stunning also for 3.6 seconds. Keep in mind we also get Minor Resolve and Minor Ward, increasing spell resistance and physical resistance. A little bit more tanky. Plus we get that, plus we get that nice 100% more damage if we successfully stun the target. Nice, very nice. Force Pulse, went over this. That's why we're using the Asylum Staff. Now listen, when we apply a status effect, right? When we apply a status effect, up to 2 nearby enemies will take 2,792 magic damage if they were already affected with Burning, Chilled, or Concuss. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We want that extra little bit of damage. Comes in handy. Degen. 2 reasons I have this. Well, 3 reasons. It's going to apply a dot, which can proc slows. It's going to give me major sorcery, and light and heavy attacks are also going to be able to heal me. So I'm getting a 3 effect for 1. Not a lot of damage, but the pressure, it adds up. Plus the major sorcery buff, really, really nice. I'm also going to use Blockade of Fire. This is going to also give me the capability of applying another dot effect, right, when they get on top of me or get close. Plus, what's really nice, now keep in mind I'm using two Destruction Staff abilities. Very important, right? Because Destruction Staff abilities ignore 10% of the enemy's spell resistance. Keep in mind, I'm not using light armor. I have no other form of penetration. I'm not using sharpen other than the lover. So penetrating magic is a boon to me because my two attacks ignore 10% of the resistance, and especially since it's my spammable. Win. So a lot of people ask, why not Ellie Drain? Don't need Ellie Drain. I'm using Force Pulse as my spammable. So it's 10%. Ignoring that effect. Plus, keep in mind, I'm getting that passive towards Ancient Knowledge, increasing single target damage by 8%. So 3 of my abilities have an 8% boost to the damage modifier. So also nice. And keep in also mind, we're also anytime we deal fire damage, we can apply the Combustion passive. Combustion passive, increase the damage of your burning and poison status effects. So that's what's really nice about Force Pulse, because when we apply burning status effect, we're applying also additional damage. Ching, ching, and ching. Tink, 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 tink. Yeah, Mystic got you. Don't worry about it, boys and girls. Now, here's the kicker. I'm going to use Radiant Mage Light instead of the other one. Why, Mystic? I don't need Max Magicka, to be honest with you. Yes, I'm in heavy armor. Yes, blah, 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 blah. The only reason I have it, it's going to help pull Nightblades out of stealth when I use it. But here's the deal. If you look at the second paragraph towards the bottom, it says, you also prevent the stuns from stealth attacks for you and nearby allies. So Nightblades like to pop out of stealth and stun people. Not with me in a party, they won't. They come on top of me or my team while I'm on this bar. They ain't stunning a fucking thing. Oh, yeah. Nice. So that's actually utility. That's what I like about it. Ferocious Leap. Pretty much everybody likes the DK dunk, right? So we're going to go with it. It's really nice. Closes in the gap. Save it. Acts like finisher. Low cost for the ulti. 125. Plus, keep in mind, we get that nice passive. Where is it? I think it's Ardent Flame. Oh, yeah. No. Hold on. Trying to remember. We'll find it. Might be an Earthen Heart. Right here, Battle Roar. When you cast an ultimate ability, you restore 57 health, Magicka, and stamina for each point of the ultimate's cost. So it's a good way to just hit recovery. Really, really nice. Back bar, Resto. Okay. Main reason we want to use the Resto, we're going to use Pansera. I need to get it morphed. So I do suggest using Pansera. Really, really nice because it's going to give you additional heal. Now, keep with that in mind, we're going to use Volatile Armor, right? It's going to increase our resistance. So when I use this and I go back into my character sheet, we're at 24 and 23,000 resistance. Really good. We're also going to use Reflective Plate. Now, we only get 2 seconds of mobilization, immunity to snares on mobilization, but comes in handy. Plus, we can reflect up to 4 projectiles for 6 seconds. Coagulating Blood is one of our heals. It's our direct healing effect. So, 7,048, increasing by up to 33% of our maxing health. You want to use Coagulating Blood because it scales max magic and spell damage. Also, we're going to use Cauterize. Now, a lot of people would think that this would be the other one. I'm using Cauterize. This can heal allies in my party as well as me. Healing is going to be an important factor with Murkmire. So you want to have either healers, dedicated healers, or everybody having substantial healing that can be applied to party members. That's the whole deal with these changes. That's why these changes are being implemented. So you want to use Cauterize, and it's very effective for you as well as your teammates. So I do recommend using this. It does not change out your damage output, because in Battlegrounds, I'm hitting anywhere between 900, well, it depends on the type of fight. In small fights or flags, it's like 700, but in death matches, anywhere from 900 to 1.2 mil or 1.3 million damage. So for a DK, that's a shitload. I am dealing a ton of damage. So yeah, very impressive. Also, Elusive Mist. Elusive Mist is going to give us the capability of mobility. So we want to be mobile, especially when we're getting overwhelmed. That's what Elusive Mist gives us. It's going to give us Major Expedition. Keep in mind, Major Expedition is getting a lot of changes. But we're also going to get, the damage reduction by 75%. So it just gives us a way, and then we can back bar out of it. And like I said, we're going to use Pansera. Really, really nice. Now let's go over to the champion points, and then I'll cover this. Starting into the Apprentice, we're going to put Blessed. I always keep this at 6.17, roughly. If you want to scale that a little higher, you can. Now, if I'm in Cyrodiil, I put my Elemental Expert, my Spell Erosion at 4,348. Remember, people have champion points. They can scale more into their penetration and stuff, or they have high resistance. So I'm going to put Spell Erosion at 4,348. Elemental Expert is 1,301. Coming over to the Astronaut, Staff Expert, only 3 points. Mastered Arms, 23. You want to scale up your Force Pulse and any direct damage effect. Keep in mind that's including Stone Fist. Okay, plus you're getting that nice pass towards the Butcher, towards your light and heavy attacks. Thaumaturge, 1602. Coming over to the Steed, Ironclad, 40. Resistance, 48. Light Armor, 10. Thick Skin, 611. Elemental Defender, 56. Hardy, 37. Quick Recovery, 6.17. Heavy Armor Focus, very important, 33. Warlord, 1208. I had 1 point left. I put it in Sprinter. Siphoner, important in Cyrodiil, not relevant in Battlegrounds. But if I'm in Cyrodiil, I'm going to reduce the recovery by 8.12. Really, really nice. Okay, Tenacity, 707. Arcanus, 14%. I put some into Mooncalf, because in Cyrodiil, dodge rolling comes in handy, and so does breaking. If you don't want to put it there, you don't have to. But I do recommend putting at least 120 so you can get wild running passive. Okay, Tumbling is 904, and of course I might do some blocks and some stuff. If you want to change that, say for example, I can actually take off the blocking. I could, so I can actually drop this altogether if I didn't want that, and then I could put more into my Siphoner, get that up to about 12%. Okay, and then I can go ahead and reduce break free cost a little bit more. So about 14, and then we could put a little bit more into the Sprinter, 7.33. So then you can do something like that if you don't want the block reduction. And that's pretty much how the champion points are allocated. Then, like I said, this build will work in Cyrodiil and Battlegrounds. I mainly played in Battlegrounds. I'm really impressed. And if you're looking forward to trying something new, especially without worrying about shield system, notice I don't have shield system in this. It was intentionally designed that way because of the upcoming changes for Murkmire. You're going to love this build. I promise you. I promise you. If you want to play range, capability with high survivability and good sustain, look no further. You found it. And this is Sloth. Once again, I'm Mystic Raven. This is Mystic's MMOs. I want to thank you guys for watching. And once again and always, have a nice day.